What if I told you that right now, as you're watching this, thousands of satellites orbit Earth, bringing high-speed internet to the most remote corners of the planet? It's all happening because one guy decided the current internet was too slow. Welcome back. Today we're diving into Starlink, the mission that's about to change how we stay connected forever. So here's the deal. Starlink is a mega constellation of satellites owned by SpaceX. We're talking thousands of them. Currently over 5,000 active satellites in orbit with plans for way more. The mission? Simple but ambitious. Deliver fast, reliable, low-latency internet to everywhere on Earth. And I mean everywhere. Remote villages, rural areas, ships in the ocean, even airplanes at 35,000 feet. Before Starlink, if you lived outside a major city, your internet options were basically nothing. Or satellite internet that was slow, expensive, and had terrible latency. Starlink asked, what if we just fixed that? Let me paint a picture. You're a rancher in Montana, a student in rural Tennessee, a fisherman off the coast of Alaska. What do you have in common? Zero good internet options. Traditional internet, the cables running underground, don't go everywhere. It's expensive to lay fiber optic cables across thousands of miles of mountains, forests, and ocean. So cable companies skip those areas. It's just not profitable enough. Satellite internet existed before Starlink, but it was rough. We're talking 500 plus milliseconds of latency. That means your email takes half a second just to send. Online gaming? Forget it. Video calls? Pixelated nightmare. Starlink fixed both problems. Global coverage, no infrastructure needed, just satellites and a dish. Low latency because these satellites orbit way closer than old ones. You get 20 to 40 milliseconds latency. That's actually usable. Plus, it's faster than most rural broadband and way cheaper than traditional satellite internet. Okay, so how does it actually work? First, SpaceX launches rockets, usually Falcon 9 South, that carry bundles of Starlink satellites. A single rocket can carry 50 satellites at once. They get dropped off in orbit, activate themselves, and boom, you've got new nodes in the network. These satellites orbit at about 550 kilometers above Earth. That's way closer than traditional satellites, which is why the latency is so much better. Here's the chain. You get a Starlink dish. Looks like a little square pizza box. You point it at the sky, plug it in, and it connects to whatever satellites are overhead. The signal bounces up to those satellites, travels across the network in space, comes back down to a ground station. And boom, you're connected to the internet. The whole thing is surprisingly simple, no installation technician needed. You literally unbox it, point it up, and go. What's wild? The dish has motors that automatically track the satellites. As they move across the sky, it's doing calculations in real time to maintain connection. Pretty sci-fi. So where are we right now with Starlink? As of now, we've got over 5,000 active satellites in orbit. Starlink is already operational in dozens of countries, North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, and growing every month. Real-world impact? Rural communities are finally getting internet comparable to cities. Disaster zones are using Starlink when traditional infrastructure goes down, like in Turkey after the earthquake or Ukraine during the war. Developing nations are getting online without waiting 20 years for cable infrastructure. Cruise ships and aircraft are now offering Starlink internet. You can literally video call from 35,000 feet. The speed? You're looking at 150 to 500 Mbps for most users. That's plenty for a streaming, gaming, video calls, everything. Cost? Around $120 a month with a one-time $600 dish cost. Not cheap, but consider rural alternatives. Either nothing or $100 a month for old satellite internet that barely works. Here's what really gets me. Starlink has over 1.5 million users already. It's not vaporware. It's actually happening right now. But here's where it gets bigger than just better Wi-Fi. SpaceX's vision isn't just to connect rural Montana. It's to democratize internet access globally. Think about it, 2 billion people on Earth still don't have reliable internet. That's the whole developing world being left behind. Starlink could change that. A teenager in Kenya with zero cable infrastructure could suddenly have the same internet speed as someone in Silicon Valley. That's genuinely world-changing. But SpaceX isn't stopping at 5,000 satellites. They want to launch 20,000 more. That's right, we're potentially looking at 30,000 satellites in orbit. Why so many? Coverage redundancy, higher capacity, and lower latency. The more satellites, the better the system gets. There's also the long-term play. Elon Musk has mentioned Starlink could eventually fund his bigger mission, Mars exploration. Because if you're profitable enough, you fund the moonshots? Literally. Now, I'm not here to just hype this up. There are real challenges. Space junk, 30,000 satellites up there is a lot. Astronomers are legitimately concerned about light pollution and orbital debris. If satellites start colliding, you get cascading debris. That could cripple space operations. SpaceX is working on solutions, but it's a real problem. Regulatory issues, different countries have different rules. Getting permission to operate in each nation takes time and money. Competition. Amazon's Kuiper, OneWeb, and others are building competing constellations. The space internet race is real. Environmental concerns. Every rocket launch has environmental impact. Scaling to thousands of launches adds up. Latency ceiling. Starlink's low latency advantage only works for general use. It's still not as fast as fiber optic cables for ultra-critical applications. But here's the thing. Despite the challenges, Starlink is solving a problem no one else could. Sometimes progress is messy. So here's what Starlink really represents. It's proof that infrastructure problems we thought were impossible to solve aren't. It's an example of technological innovation just working, delivering real value to millions of people right now. Whether you live in rural Kansas or downtown New York, whether you're excited or skeptical about 30,000 satellites overhead, you gotta admit, it's ambitious. It's the kind of big dumb idea that just might work. And honestly, it already is. What do you think? Is Starlink the future of internet, or are we crazy for launching 30,000 satellites? Drop your take in the comments. I read every single one. If you're into space, tech, and world-changing missions, hit that subscribe button. New video next week? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.